Hello and welcome to Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we are in 6x6 heaven today with a puzzle called Cornered Parity by Lulero. I've done a Lulero puzzle at least once or twice before, I think. They're always very good, and this one has been recommended to us by none other than Michael Lefkowitz, the puzzling genius who we featured on the channel loads of times, sometimes goes under the nickname Juggler. And Michael wrote to us to say that this puzzle is criminally underrated and something of a genius construction. And I looked it up on Logic Masters. It only has 88% approval rating. I mean, to be honest, most puzzles that feature on Cracking the Cryptic will be way above 90%. But I am very happy to take Michael's word for the fact that we should be looking at this. And there are some known rather naughty solvers who deliberately downrate puzzles, and I am always very determined to defeat their intentions, whatever they may be. So this is what we're going to have a look at. And the rules are interesting. This is a sort of no three in a row rule as regards parity. But I'll read you them properly in a moment or two's time. What do I have to tell you about first? In fact, I'll start off by just mentioning that over on Patreon we have released the solution video for this month's hunt, which was a competition by Paws primarily, but I think there's a Lulero puzzle in there as well, and that was loads of 6x6 puzzles, and I think some thousands of you managed to make your way through it. If you haven't had a look at it, do check it out. It's designed to be a bit easier for the month of July, a summer month where holidays happen, although the weather outside today, as usual, is, well, it leaves a lot to be desired. Let's just put it like that. Anyway, that's over on Patreon. The solution videos a go. And I've got a couple of birthdays to do, both of which I fear I'm late with, actually. I'll start with Ronnie over there in Houston, Texas. I understand you watch every night, Ronnie, so forgive me. I think your birthday was a week or so ago. Your wife Ashley wrote in and said you'd appreciate a shout out. So Ronnie, I hope you had an absolutely brilliant birthday, replete with chocolate cake, in a city I've never been to but would love to visit. Anyway, so Ronnie, happy birthday. And next, also a little late, Nathan, you've turned 27 recently, and I know this because your brother Matt wrote to us and described how the whole family watch Cracking the Cryptic together, and then often will shout out, "Pause it," in the middle of the video, where one of them has spotted something clever that they can explain to the other family members. It's absolutely lovely. I love hearing stories about how families or groups of friends have found the channel together, and some people watch it over Zoom together, yeah, all sorts. Anyway, Nathan, many happy returns. I hope you had a great 27th birthday with, of course, chocolate cake. Now, let's turn our attention to doing some solving and have a look at Cornered Parity by Lulero. These are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. So in a 6x6 grid, what that means is we're going to have to put the digits 1 to 6 in every row, in every column, and in every one of these sort of 2x3 rectangles. In every row and column, strings of 3 digits are never all even nor all odd. So if you look at those 3 digits, there must be some mixture of odds and evennesses about those 3 cells, etc. The same is going to be true of any set of 3 that we pick. Digits in a cage sum to the total in the top left, so we've got a sprinkling of cages dotted around the grid, and digits on a thermometer, 2 very short thermometers, strictly increase from the bulb to the tip. Sometimes the way we describe that is increase from the bulb end. So if this square here was a 3, this square here would have to be more than 3. So it would have to be 4, 5 or 6. It doesn't have to be 4. It doesn't have to increase in steps of 1. It can increase in steps much greater than 1 if possible. But that's all the rules. That's literally all the rules. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, the first thing I'm seeing here is, well, presumably parity is going to be absolutely crucial. And a 7 cage is, because 7 is an odd number, if you add up 2 numbers to 7, I mean, this is something of a knowledge bomb. You will have to use an odd digit and you will have to use an even digit. So I mean, there are 3 evens and 3 odds in each box. 1, 3, 5, 2, 4, 6. So this is one of each, because we're going to have 1 odd and even in there and 1 odd and even in there. And 6, we've got 2 6 cages. Now they are going to have to be, well, they're either 1 5 or 2 4, aren't they? So they have the same okay, they have the same parity. Right, so the only thing that's sort of making me think about that is that these squares then have a different parity to the next square along. So I mean, if I don't know what these are, so I can't use the standard blue and orange I meant to use for parity. I'll use green. So whatever these two are, they're 2 4 or 1 5, but they have the same parity. But there's this no 3 in a row rule, so that square is of different parity to these two. Yeah, it's actually quite interesting, isn't it? Because you can immediately then say you can't have 3 purples in a row here, because that would break the rules as well. So one of these two must be green, and that's the 3rd green in the column, so the corner square is purple. But we're going... Does that mean that's green? Or does that mean... I feel like that means that's green. Because can't I just apply the same logic? Let's use different colours for a moment. If this was lime green, then we could say that this square was not lime green. Let's use red. Then again, these couldn't be 3 reds, could they? So one of these two would be lime green, and this would be red. Yeah. So it is absolutely true to say that, because what we're effectively proving there is that red is the same as purple. And if red is the same as purple, these are the sentences I get to say on this channel. If red is the same as purple, then lime green is the same as dark green. So these are dark green. This is purple. And now, well, now, I mean, this is outrageous. Lulero, what are you doing making me do Sudoku in your Sudoku puzzle? But now, where is... these dominoes here are either a 1-5 pair or a 2-4 pair. But we can ask where green goes. This is going to do massive work, because green, by Sudoku, in box 5 here, is now in that domino. And now those two squares have to both be purple, because otherwise you're going to get 3 greens in a row. I love this. I love puzzles like this. I mean, so far it's not monstrously difficult. I don't know how difficult it will get, but I just love the elegance of these sorts of deductions. Right, now, remember what we said about 7 cages. They have to contain 2 of each parity. So if we think about the parity of green, we still don't know what it is, but there's going to be 1 green in that 7 cage and 1 green in that 7 cage, and that's all the greens for column 6, so that's got to be purple. That's got to be green, because you can't have 3 greens and 3 purples in a row. Oh, it's all too good to be true, wasn't it? That's going to be... Oh, bobbins. Bobbins, bobbins, bobbins. Now we're going to get stuck. Oh, that's so sad. It was going so well. Could we... I don't... Okay, yeah, we can, can't we? Because we can... It's not possible. No, this. I think what I'm about to say is absolute nonsense. I mean, it's true, but it's not helpful. It basically collapses to being nonsense, unfortunately. No, but one of those, I've thought of something else. One of those must be purple. So that means that's all the purples for this column, which means this must be green. That's big, because now that must be purple to avoid 3 greens, so that becomes green. Well, that's something. So this is 1 of each. This is 1 of each. There's got to be... These can't both be green, obviously. So there's some purple in here. This is one of each. So this is one of each. This is one of each. I'm looking for opportunities to use this trick again with the no 3 in a row rule. I'm doing very badly. If that was green, all of those would be purple, and that would basically fill the puzzle. And if that was purple, that would be green, and both of those would... Oh, hang on. Hang on, that feels like it can't be true. Yes, that's very weird. That's really rather wonderful. It's so wonderful, I'm sure there's a different way of seeing it. But if you look at this domino, if we make that top square green, then I think you have to put 2 purples on either side of it to prevent that from working. And I can't put 4 purples in a row, because whatever purple is, it won't work. So that's green. Sorry, purple. That's green. And now I've got all my greens in this row, so those are all purple. Now that must be green. I must shield this domino here with 2 greens. So that's purple in the corner. That's purple in the spotlight, losing its religion. There's 2 purples there, so that's got to be... So, sorry, 2 greens there, so that's got to be purple, so that's got to be green. That's got to be purple by a process of elimination. Oh dear. Okay, is that as far as I'm allowed to take that idea? It's the same again. I'm going to use the same trick again. If this was purple, that's 2 purples in a row, and both of these would have to be green. It's sort of a Connect 4 type logic. You know when you're playing Connect 4 and somebody gets, 3 in a row, but they can put 1 on either side? So you can't, in your next turn, you can't stop both sides. Well, that's a bit like that. That's therefore got to be green. That's all the greens for this row. So those 2 are purple. That means that's green. That means that's purple. And that means that's green. And there we go. I still don't know what the parity is, but I've coloured the grid. I've got 2 purples on the same thermometer, and not the same thing going on there. So I imagine... Let me just think about this. So green is well, not green, but the 6 cages are either 2, 4, which would make the other digit 6. So if green was even, this would be a 6 at the end of a thermometer. Well, that's very, very plausible. But if green was 1, 5, this would be a 3 at the end of the thermometer, and that would be a 2. Oh. Well, okay, so that looks fine as well. So perhaps what we're meant to do is to sort of differentiate within... Just trying to see if there's an easy way of doing this. I'm not spotting one yet. Oh, those are the same. I was wondering whether I could colour within a, if I could differentiate within purple and sort of try to, yeah, okay, I can do that here. That digit, let me call it, I'll call it A for a moment. So if this is A, where is A in this box? Now A can't be on its own thermometer because these digits would be the same. And A can't be in its own column, so that's A, which means this is A, which means that's A. Yeah, this is going. Okay, so you can do that. So you can place A everywhere. But... So now I'm just trying to look at the remainder of purple and see if there's an... I think it feels like it'll work if I just pick almost any digit. If that's B, then that's B. Oh no, hang on, I've got a mistake, haven't I? I've got far too many, I haven't got enough. Oh, I made that green. That needs to be purple. What am I doing? I'm sorry. I mean, I don't think that actually changes anything about what we were going to do. So I'm going to go back over here and go back to that. But I was trying to put a digit in there, and I was thinking I can't do it. So that's A. Oh, it's worse. Oh no, it still works. Oh, it doesn't work. Oh no. Okay, no, it can still work. I can still distribute A's okay. But maybe I have to think more carefully about where to pick the B digit then. Yeah, I mean, that's effectively a sort of deadly pattern of B and C. If we say that B and C are the other digits within purple. I mean, I could pick that as B. Then that's B, then that's B, then that's B. And then this is C by a process of elimination. That's C, that's C, that's C. Yeah, and this is the problem we're going to have here. Whoopsie, not with our CV. We're going to have a BC pattern that's only going to be resolved either by the 7 cage or by the thermo. Okay, so what we might be able to do is to that digit looks fairly interesting. I don't know if this will work, but I'm going to try. If we call that digit D, then you can see that digit is D. That digit is D. Might have. Is that going to be? I might have not got a good starting point there, I'm afraid. I don't know if I can take that forward any further. I mean, what we could do, we do know these two digits are the same, don't we? Because they're part of the same 6 cage. So I'm going to label both of those E in case that helps me. So that, by default, this becomes F, which means that becomes F. I need to put F in this column. So F is now at the tip of that thermo. That's F, therefore. But I fear this is going to run out of room or run out of legs fairly soon. Let me see if we can do any better. So A, B or C? So these are D and E, aren't they? But these are also D and E. And F is in one of these squares, but we don't know which one. And F is in one of those squares, and we don't know which one. And D is in one of these squares, and I just don't think we're going to quite get enough traction. Oh, A and D are in the same. Okay, I know. All right, I'm going to go back to this. A and D are in the same 7 cage, so that's got to be D, and that's lovely because that's actually going to differentiate my D's and E's, which was the thing that I was not seeing how to do. Look, it's going now. So that's F, and that's D. So now, okay, now I can do my deadly pattern of B's and C's because C and F add up to 7, and F is in this one, so that must be a C, which means that's therefore a B, which means that's therefore, whoopsie, that's a B, and that's a C. And we've distributed around the grid. Oh, what we should do now, you know, so that if we get a digit, I don't know if it'll let me do it. Oh no, it does. It's fine. It's fine. We don't. I was thinking maybe we have to change the digits into big digits. Although that digit's in the corner. Oh no, that's fine. That's working as well. Right. So where are we then? We know that A and D add up to 7. C and F add up to 7. Now, given that the triangular number for 6 is 21. That means that the other digits, which are B and E, also add up to 7. But we know D and E add up to 6. Hang on, how do we do this then? It must be the thermos, I think. B and A are in the same, they're the same parity. Oh. Okay. Sorry, look at this. C and F add up to 7, and C and F That's beautiful. What a beautiful idea. Right, I've got it. Right, C and F add up to 7. Okay, now remember where we were originally. We were thinking about the ways that this 6 cage could be comprised, knowing that both of its digits were of the same parity. Now, one way was that this was a 2-4 pair, which would have made this square a 6. And by mathematics, that's going to mean C is a 1. And this would be a 1/6 thermometer. Perfectly reasonable thing to think about. But what would happen if the parity of green was actually odd? Well, then the 2 digits that add up to 6 would be 1 and 5. And this would be a 3, because it would be the digit that's of that parity that hasn't been used in the 1-5 pair. But we know this adds up to 7. So that would be a 3. And on the bulb you get a 4, and the thermometer would be backwards. It would have a bigger bulb than it had a tip. So it can't be that. So what we actually end up with is that green, let's see if we can do this, green is even, which is meant to be blue, isn't it? So purple is orange, which for odd. And now we know F is 6. So wherever F appears, we can make it 6. Wherever, well, C, wherever that appears, we can make that 1. Oh, so it didn't get them all. That one's definitely a 1 as well. Have we got them all now? No. That one's a 1 as well. Okay, and we know D and E are 2 and 4. Okay, but B and A are being resolved by the thermometer here, because they're 3 and 5, aren't they? So B, it won't let me do it. B, let's click that one. B is 3. A, oh, that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. So A is 5, and presumably, therefore, we get D from this 7 cage. This is a brilliant puzzle. Michael, thank you very much for bringing this to our attention. This is lovely. And now we can double, well, it won't let me do it. I'm just going to go through those and write 4 in. And that is, I think, the solution to the puzzle. Isn't that beautiful? Yes, is the answer. Yes, it is. That is absolutely beautiful. Lulero. Those are the sorts of puzzles I think have such a wonderful quality because they're clever. I mean, there was a lot of, it felt like about 3 different puzzles in one, didn't it? They're clever, but they're interesting, and they just make you happy when you solve them, because you can feel how the parity moves, and the little trick at the end with the thermos and making the thermo not go backwards just feels like a beautiful resolution. I absolutely love things like that. Loved it. Let me know in the comments whether you had a go and how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.